You are now with Demigod.
Hot, like the block. Yeah, I saw the boys on my block earlier.
Big yard.
Alright, listo? Phones away. Phones away.
Yo.
Put the phones away.
You harmonizing? Start it off.
Yo.
Doug got me feeling like I need to start settling more, bro. He had me in my bag in that album. Oh, you know what's crazy? We were driving back from Virginia. We were listening to it. And I was like, Mahala, what does it mean to falsetto? And she said, it's when you sing in your head. You sing with your head voice, not your chest voice. You know, I didn't know what that meant. So I still don't know what falsettoing means or how to do it. So
Is that how Thug?
I think there's multiple definitions because I know it's a classification of a voice too, and it's also like there's like baritone and falsetto. So I think it's like
is baritone with the chest?
Baritone is like
It sounds stronger.
Baritone is like a deeper voice, so it might be like I don't know. We probably look like idiots trying to break down this right now.
I have no idea.
Let's get to
I'm
it.
so confused.
Have you? Like you can sing.
Do I sound like I could sing?
You look like a singer.
You look
like someone who would sing.
Yeah.
Look, she got the loose R&B pants on.
One day I'm gonna break it down for
The
you.
short hair. The niggas ain't shit attitude. You a Kaylani and a Megan right now.
You think that's what is that the average female singer right now?
Yeah.
Is that what most,
honestly, niggas ain't shit R&B is the best R&B.
You know, J. Cole.
Absolutely.
Remember J. Cole said people don't sing about love anymore. You think that's true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's so much more real things going on outside of love.
What do you mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that
wait? No, I do think that R&B like singers still do sing about like love songs, but it's more like now.
Too.
Yeah, it's like more now like situations. Like back in the day, it was more like I love you, like let me cater to you, like things like that.
What
and,
happened
like,
to that though?
More like
why don't we get back to that?
That's what I mean. More real things. Like a girl should be like if you listen like SZA, like the song Supermodel, she's talking about like R&B before it was like, oh, either he left me, my heart is broken, or I'm talking about how good he is to me. SZA's not talking. SZA's talking in Supermodel. She's like, I fucked your friend. Like I just thought I should let you know. Like, you feel me? Like shit like that. Like those are real life situations that happen with people, and then there's no singer singing about it.
So would you think So I was telling someone about this the other day. So do you think the average woman thinks like SZA? Or like the average person thinks how, like, do the average person think how the most popular musician makes music?
Nah.
Like, do the most men think like Drake think?
But that's the thing. You have like the different bags. So I know some niggas that think they Brent Fires and they not. I know some niggas that think they Drake and they not. I know some niggas that think even females like
they're
Future and they not. You feel me?
Definitely not.
You got the same amount of baby mothers, but she's definitely not him. And I also know like females that like they might see themselves like a Janae. You know, they might be more spiritual, more into like so
they feel when she sings.
Or some women might be like a Summer Walker, like they really just over it type shit. Because that's a shameless plug. Go listen to that. But
why you look at me when you said Summer Walker?
I'm not calling you Summer Walker.
Oh, you just looked at me.
You like, over it.
You said.
What you scream on this podcast all the time.
Said,
niggas ain't what?
I think she needs to stop. We gotta stop saying that too.
Huh?
We gotta stop that.
What?
Niggas ain't shit.
Cause it's not true.
Chris,
it's
please.
not true.
Chris, you can't listen.
You
want to hear my my saying? This is why you shouldn't defend niggas ain't shit, right? Yeah. We got a guest episode. We got a guest in today's episode. Marlette, come on down. What'd you have to ask?
Go ahead.
Yo, that's funny as hell. But listen, this is why you don't defend niggas ain't shit.
Why?
Because you happen to be of the percentage of men who are shit. Correct?
But
wait.
Uh-huh.
Listen for a second.
Yeah.
You're from a percentage of the men who are shit, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. There's plenty of men outside of you.
What percentage?
That I don't know the percentage.
Would you say majority?
I don't know.
I disagree.
Because she's not saying all men ain't shit. Mm-hmm. She said
niggas ain't shit.
So can we throw in
so
certain?
You don't classify.
Can we say certain?
Why you have to say that?
Can we say certain?
Why you say it? Why you have to say that?
Niggas ain't shit, bro.
Can we
Like,
say certain?
for the most
It's,
part,
listen, it's a blanket.
niggas
It's,
fucking
You know why?
suck.
You know why? I think you know
There's
what?
just no way around that.
Okay, and this is why I explain myself. This is why I'm explaining myself. This is why I don't like it. Because I feel like
this is why I don't.
no,
like
I feel like most women feel that way, and I think a lot of the like there's turmoil in the dating world right now. I'm not in the dating world, but I have friends speak about it, and I think that both sides have beef with each other, and they bring that into relationships where like their guards are always so up, and I think for us to get our guards back down on both sides, we have to come to our first thought is like, you know, we love and respect the other side, not bitches ain't shit, not niggas ain't shit. I feel like both those need to go away, and we need to come again to relationships, to people, each other, with our guards back down. But I think we can't get there until we believe and that we love and respect the other side, regardless.
I think
I
yeah.
completely like I understand that, but like when you get ready, you come on here and say that women need to take accountability and all this woman nonsense.
For sure.
So I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna say that you niggas ain't shit, cause yeah, like when it come down to it, yeah, y'all be fucking up.
I'm gonna
Y'all
say
niggas ain't
30%
shit.
of men.
Nah, it's bigger than that.
I'm gonna say
Bigger.
like
40.
60,
I-
maybe
60?
75.
No.
So what
Yeah,
makes a guy not shit?
75.
Huh?
What makes a guy not shit?
What classifies it?
Yeah, what would put him in that not shit category? Then I could know.
To me-
I need
to
to know
me-
the criteria.
Alright, if you
A bum ass
if you
nigga.
lying if you lying to get what you want, you ain't shit.
Straight
Okay,
up.
To me,
I can agree with that.
Keeping it player is like you.
Would you be a chronicle liar or like say? I try to understand. Would they be like someone who always lies?
Whoa, what do you even mean by that?
I mean, like they lying all the time. Like I know some people who like made a mistake and lied. I know people.
Are you
who
just
really
gonna be a liar
lying.
one time? Or you gonna be a liar?
Like lying to get what you want, bro. Like that ass. Like, oh, you my everything. You feel me? Like,
See,
like,
I understand that.
That's some lame shit.
Yeah,
To
I
me,
feel
like that you ain't shit.
Yeah.
If you're not taking care, if you not taking care of your responsibilities, whether it be like,
I think gonna say kids. I would say definitely put them over there.
I was gonna say definitely like
Yeah, we
with
don't fuck with
That's the
niggas with
worst kind.
kids.
meaning like children, or like if you have a family construct and you're not like putting your best forward to like provide for your family.
Yeah, I think that's
Like that's definitely.
I think that's
part of ain't shit.
the biggest.
If you married and you out here trying, you feel me, get some shit on
Yeah,
the side.
that's not cool.
You ain't
That's not
shit.
cool. That's not cool.
What else?
Immoral.
Yeah, bro. Like I said, I seen some shit like going to school.
Would
Like,
lazy count?
yeah, but that don't make you that make you ain't shit. Not with women. You ain't shit just because you lazy. You feel me?
Okay.
But yeah, there's certain thing like. I'm not saying you got to be the most perfect human being. I'm not, because I hate that whole sim thing. Oh, you're supposed to treat your girl like a queen. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to treat the person how you want to treat your person. You feel me? And if that's not adequate to what they like, then you fucking move on amicably. You feel me? But I think we get caught up.
So 70% of men fall in that category.
I feel like a lot of men do
Absolutely.
fall in a certain category. Because like I don't know a lot of men that are honest, have their way. I mean, like, a lot of my boys, you feel me? They definitely stand up people, or else I really wouldn't be friends with them. You feel me? But I do know a lot of dudes that are like, be with a girl and get in a relationship for a month just so they get hit. Like, to me, that's corny. Like, that's corny.
I feel like most men I know aren't that way.
I don't know, bro. Like, I had some, I don't know, bro. I done seen some shit from, like, some people, like, a person, right? That I went to school with.
They look so fed up, bro. She looks so.
He was in a relationship and he cheated, right? This nigga was in a relationship and he cheated.
Yeah.
And instead of, I mean, it's bad enough you cheated, but instead of him cheating with just like a random girl, like he hit one of his boys' girl.
Whoa.
Like to me, that's like,
whoa.
you doubling
That's
shit.
regular.
You feel me? Like it's bad enough you was doing one thing. I'm not gonna sit there and be like,
That's
oh, he ain't
some
shit, he cheated.
regular ass
You
shit.
feel me? Because everybody's sentiment on cheating is their own.
He did
But
what?
the fact that like you feel me, that's the extra mile of ain't being shit.
Wow.
So
okay,
like you defending niggas like that, you shouldn't be defending.
No,
that.
hell, that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's some people out there doing some.
Okay,
wacky
so
shit, bro.
then that means that we have a responsibility to help those men end up in better places.
Nah.
As a podcast.
Oh yeah. Definitely as a platform. You feel
Okay.
me? Tune in and learn yourself something. But
Wow.
I don't think we should defend that behavior.
No,
What,
hell no.
Wait, this is what you say.
You guys just taught me something.
This is what you say. Like when they say niggas ain't shit, they aren't. But I'm just not one of them. That's my sentiment.
So I would like to know what percentage of we think a realistic percentage.
Like 70.
Damn.
Nah,
What do you get?
I feel like that's too high.
What do you get?
Yeah.
I would say like. I think it's more than half.
I
More than
say
half, okay.
70.
I would say 56%.
Okay, we give majority. So who do you blame for that? If majority of men are, what do you
Society.
blame? So you blame society?
Yeah, because I mean, what's the percentage of? Let's get into this, Chris. What's the percentage of women that ain't shit?
What are we gonna classify for women that ain't shit?
Well, let's go through it just like we did for men. Wait. Welcome back to another episode of the Demigod Chronicles. This is your boy Asante Daya, aka Demigod, and we are back on another beautiful recording day. I'm here with my peoples. Feel me?
Yes,
I ain't even see them in a minute.
Gang.
We having a good day today. Who here with me, man?
How you guys doing? This? My name's Christian. Having a great day today. Yeah, it's been a while, but I'm happy we're back. Happy we could sit and talk about things that are important in this world and bring value to your life. So, welcome.
Oh shit.
She's breaking equipment already.
You break it, you buy it.
Sorry about that, guys. Hey, it's your girl Lay. We are here in another episode, back with my brother man. Excited to be here. We haven't been here in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah, we've been
a lot of shit happened in 2
MIA.
weeks. Yeah.
We got some nice things. We got some nice things in store for you guys.
Yeah,
Don't worry about that.
We got to touch on a couple things. A couple things happened.
Yeah.
Some little outrages, outbursts. Yeah. Some red flags.
Yeah.
Some niggas ain't shit. Some bitches ain't shit.
That was the red flag movement.
Jamaican trips.
Perfect. We're gonna have a great day. It's gonna be great. Jamaican trips.
But look, right? We love being a credible source of media and information, and we feel like it's really information that you guys need. You know, that you come to us for. So with that being said, we want to deep dive back into the topic of why women ain't shit. Let's go, Chris.
Oh, we're gonna start that now.
Yeah, let's get it.
So this is the. We're gonna do the red. Should we get in the background too? Oh, the red flags. And
No. We're not doing that yet. We still continue.
It's the same conversation though.
But look, let's definitively
okay
get, because we got the percentage of men. What is it, 56?
60. Okay, so we gotta do
70.
I said 56.
Okay, so 56.
70.
Yeah.
And 70. We're gonna say 60. We're not even do math, but 60.
Okay.
So, but remember, for men we categorize it. So how do we categorize it for women?
The women.
Oh, I can start off. That girl, what's her name? Brittany Reiner. Any girl who does what she did, automatically in that bucket.
Damn, that's a large percentage right there.
Yeah.
Gone.
See, I would say not a lot of women do that.
Not the women that we come into contact with our everyday life, but as far as the find someone successful and get pregnant by them scheme.
That's a like a thing.
Her things, there's specifics to her that, you know, add some seasoning on it, like the fact that she was like on him since he was in school and he was like underage. Shit like
she
that.
did
that definitely adds some seasoning.
But
the whole grand scheme of that is find someone successful or on their way to being successful and get. It don't matter where his parents. Is your parents ever in the bedroom when you have your penis out?
Right, and when you was in college,
when he was
in college,
I would hope if my parents saw me at 17, 16 dating a person like that, they'd be like, "Yo, son, what are you doing?"
But he didn't start dating her until he was like 19.
All they said she was on him since he was in high school.
Like she saw him type shit. Like she was like,
oh, she started her plan.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know if her plan was for him. I think it was for one of them, for a fact. She was like, I'm gonna get one of them.
Young boys.
She's shooting fish in a pond, bro. What do you want her to do?
She's crazy.
But all right, so her behavior like that. So we're saying getting pregnant for the trap. And make sure you
your bag that's not cool. So I threw one out.
Lay,
you were very active in some of the things that make men ain't shit. So what are some of the things that make women not shit?
No, I want to say this before we get into that.
Oh.
Right.
Should have done me
like,
backtracking a little bit.
No, I'm not backtracking because the things that you guys say that women ain't shit are like things that happen. I don't want to say not as often as the ain't shit ass niggas.
I think you sound biased
Stuff.
now.
But yeah,
No,
right.
That I'm
no.
gonna throw out bias. I'm gonna call out bias.
No,
on
I
that.
don't think it's biased.
I think
at all.
so. Like I think
think-
if you as a person can't openly admit wrong on both sides.
No, I definitely admit wrong
Okay,
on
you
both
have to.
sides. I definitely do, but I think in more like regular day to day, like more things that we see, like I feel like we can sit here and we can like find statistics or like look at things in like the grand scheme, or like look at things like, I don't know, search things up, but like in our regular day to day, like I know y'all have experienced some shit in college, and y'all know some niggas that have said some shit to y'all that have been like, ooh, we.
Like I'm sorry, no, we can't do that.
And then
No,
Wait,
you can't do that.
wait,
You can't do that.
but-
And this is why. One, I'm gonna just from what you said. One, this is the major reason why you can't do that. Because you also have to expect that your one perspective or your one thing that you've seen in this life and world, there are billions of people living. So for you to say we're gonna ignore all the studies and all the questions we've asked people around the world and just say that's all cool, but from what I've seen in my experiences is a more reflection of reality on a game scale. You can't do that.
no, I understand like the perspective of like the internet and stuff, and I feel like that kind of can, I guess, confirm or like deny some of the things that we see in our day to day, but that's not like regular day to day stuff.
But it's
like,
not just the internet now. It's also
Or-
studies that
or
research labs have done.
studies or whatever. We can, that's only to confirm and deny whatever, but that like regular day to day, like things that we experience,
Mhm.
like that's the
So
reality.
also let me ask you a question. I'm asking a
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
So do you think your life is a better predictor of a reality than everyone, like than the collective worlds put together?
Of my reality, this
But
is
no. Of
no.
reality, not your reality. Of reality.
Yo, you have to understand that we all live our own lives. Like at the end of the day, like when we open our eyes, it's our reality. Like this is like our life. Like we can see things in other people's eyes, and we can go on the internet and we can research as many things, and that gives us the information. Yes, that confirms and denies. Yes, that gives us the numbers. Yes, we can always go back to that. Yes, I don't want to ever not acknowledge that. But in our day to day and in reality, like we have to move a different way because we like actually are living in this shit. Like,
Yeah. But alright, so I agree with what you're saying,
mm-hmm.
and I definitely understand what you're saying. My only thing is that we definitely just said, or we agreed the fact that like there's men that do things that aren't,
Mm-hmm.
are unsavory. I guess we would call it.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, and we're trying to figure out what things that are you saying there's women that don't. We're not denying the fact that there might be more men that ain't shit or women. That's not the thing that we're talking about. I'm trying to figure out if you agree that there's certain factors that make women not shit, because
Of
you
course.
just brought up the fact that men ain't shit, and we agreed with you that there's
There's
broke down.
things that make women not shit. Yes.
So what
of
do you think are
course.
some of them?
Women can be sneaky.
Sneaky and what, like cheating?
Yeah, sneaky and cheating, sneaky and being like deceitful,
Okay.
deleting, false narratives.
All right. There's definitely a lot of people that do that. So
Mhm.
what I was gonna definitely say that like women that kind of put, like they'll spin a situation because they know something is like a hot top, not a hot topic. I shouldn't call it that, but if it's like a current issue, like they'll try to pass something off as something else. Like you've seen cases where like women would be like, oh yeah, he did this to me or he did that to me, and it would only be to rip this man down from his stature, and they'll come out later and be like, oh, he didn't really do that, this happened or that happened or whatever. I think women that do, like, the people that happened to, definitely an issue, you feel me, and that's definitely a problem. But the women that pretend like it is, or that's what happened, and then they come out later and say like, oh wait, but that's not what happened, like he didn't really do this or he didn't really do that, think those women ain't shit. Because you shouldn't be able. We spoke about this on here before. You shouldn't be able to like falsely accuse someone knowing that you're doing that to kind of like, you know, defamate their character, whatever the case may be, and then after the fact you want to say like, oh, like, yeah, that didn't really happen, or this didn't really happen. Like, if it really happened, it really happened. If it didn't, it didn't. But if you're one of those women that kind of like, I'm gonna walk that fence because I know pretty much until like the details come out, like people are gonna believe me, then you fall in that category of ancient women.
Yeah, with that though, like I feel like you can like I don't know how to explain it. Like that falls into the line of like being deceitful.
Yeah.
So like I feel like with women, like we could be sneaky, like very sneaky, and lie about a lot of little shit that doesn't have to be like necessary. I think like with women, like if we've mentioned this before, okay, to the point of this like lying, and I know we don't really want to talk about it, but like women like to lie on men about rape. And I know it's like a sensitive topic and we don't want to get too much into it because like, you know, I don't want anybody to ever feel offended. But women tend sometimes to lie on men, and then no, regardless as if the woman comes out later on down the line and says that this man was telling the truth, his name is his reputation is ruined just because it was in the same line or in the same story or whatever the case is. Because
people don't really focus on the word accusation.
Right.
They hear rape and it's like, oh, he raped someone?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I think with that being said, we talked about this before. Women that do that, I feel like they should be like charged. Mm-hmm. They should like be penalized in some way for doing that. Like I never think that was acceptable. But again, I think women are just liars, deceitful. Like you can be sneaky, and it's a woman's world essentially. Like if we say something, it's 9 times out of 10 gonna go that way.
Let me come clean, to be honest with you guys. From my opinion, I think men and women do wrong at about the same rate. I don't think it's majority of women. I don't think it's a majority of men. But I think women and men cheat, lie, steal at about the same rate. And I think, Lay, you're a little biased to give men 70 and say it's less than than to say it's less than majority than women. I think that's absurd, personally. But you can have your own opinion. But I'm going to say men and women at the same rate do wrong at about the same rate. And
you think so?
I think 100%.
Like, I don't... It's hard for me because like she was saying, you understand things from like your personal realm, and then you see things that get like romanticized, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, how do we know? Like I've seen things where it's like, oh, guys say, well, women cheat more than men, and it's like, all right, that's not true. Exactly, you feel me? But it's like, one, where'd that study come from? Who's taking a survey to say like, oh yeah, I cheated this year? Mm-hmm. Like. How do you get that information? To even if it's like on the other hand, like how do you know men would cheat more than women? Like because there's men that's out there cheating that's not getting caught. They're not a part of the percentage. Yeah. There's men out there that are being accused of cheating or may have gotten broken up with for cheating. That might have not been the case. Mm-hmm. They might be a part of that percentage. So it's like kind of misrepresentation on both sides. Mm-hmm. So I feel like people let their scope of the world get into the play into the mix.
I think most people, especially if you're not trained, even though people trained do it too, most people are caught up in their own beliefs, assumptions, and biases. Yeah. I think that's how most people operate. Mm-hmm. Now, when you look at things on a grand scale, there's some people don't know. There's some studies that are absolutely terrible. Like, I've read how some studies were done, and they were just done completely terrible. Yeah. You know, the data isn't reliable. But when you look at human behavior, and you have, I'm talking years and years and thousands of years, I'm talking biblical at this point, where you can really watch how people have studied human behavior and came to certain opinions about human behavior. And I can tell you, in my opinion, from what I've learned, women and men, they do things at the wrong, they do wrong about the same rate. So for us to be like, oh, women are all good, for us to say men are all good, you're lying to yourself. I think both sides are guilty of things. Both sides need to accept that we're not perfect. Both sides need to be like, yo, wow, I've done some things in my wrong. I know you've done things in your wrong. Let's work together. Let's stop saying this ain't shit. It's because it's not true.
Yeah.
If you could really be like, men ain't shit, women ain't shit, I think you're not looking at what you've probably done in your own life and what whatever group you're claiming to have done wrong. Same thing with, if you want to take it to male, female, race and everything. Same way how people could look at black people like, oh, black people have been to jail so much. They go to jail at such a higher rate. You know that's not true. White, black, we all do crime at about the same rate as well. Just one group is policed a lot tougher than the other group.
Yeah.
Simple.
Because it's rough when it gets into that, like, it's like I forgot who said it, but it's like a model. It's like what you know is what you've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, well, I'm not saying every man you met wasn't shit. You feel me? Because I know you've experienced some men that, obviously, because you spoke about before a man on here that you say you might have fumbled the bag with and that he was a nice guy and stuff like that. So he wouldn't fall in that category. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So if you had a conversation with a girl that she only had men that treated her great, and she's like, oh no, like all men are great. Like you both would be having a conversation, but it would be from the standpoint of like what y'all experienced. Yep. And y'all both would be wrong because she doesn't know that there's men out there that get women pregnant and leave them. She doesn't know there's men out there that beat them, that cheat on them, that do all these crazy things. And then you, like I said, not that you don't know that, but a person speaking from absolute, because I know when you say men ain't shit, you're not shit, because you have a father who is shit. So you know that you have uncles and cousins. Shit. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So you have people in your life that are positive representation of positive men. So I know that you know that, and I know that you're not all the way. Say for the people who don't know Lay, you feel me? That, but so you having that understanding versus a person who's like they're like, no, like I've been with 3 men, they got me pregnant, they beat on me, they did this, they did that. Their scope of that, and they don't have any positive representation. Yeah. I think that's where we have to be careful, and we have to leverage both sides.
And this is why I told you guys before about us having a responsibility, because the way I see it, yeah, we might know what she means, and we might know like, but now when we're speaking to an audience who's gonna tap in and click and just listen, we have to be mindful and be like, no, not men aren't shit. Listen, guys, I've had really bad experience with some men. And listen, most of the men I've dealt with in my life are bad. And I've had terrible experience with them. But I can tell you guys, not all men aren't shit. And you guys should still have faith and go out there and talk to men and trust some men. But be better at selecting the men you talk to. I feel like that does way more good than us just getting on here saying, men ain't shit, women ain't shit. Because it's not true. Yeah. I mean, we have a responsibility as a group to give that back to people who are listening to us. And that's how I feel. And that's why, I'm not going against Slay Knows, I'm not attacking her. Like, that's why I press it so hard. Like, nah, men. No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, when I say men ain't shit, like, it's just, like, funny. Like, men ain't shit. But, like, I come on here all the time and I tell you guys, like, X, Y, and Z or X, Y, and Z. Like, there have been good men. There have been bad men. From my eyes, it just seems like niggas a little bit more ain't shit than women. Like, I'm not letting that
out. Yeah.
Like, doubling down on that shit,
no,
man.
But the way she said it just now, to me, is so much more impactful than the first way.
Yeah. No, I completely understand.
You guys, I always come on here and talk about my dad and talk about good men that I've experienced, and I've experienced bad men. Like, y'all know that. And when I say men ain't shit, like, for the most part, it's me on here just popping shit, like men ain't shit, like, but we've all had good experiences and bad experiences. It's just how we go moving forward. You just know what you like and what you don't.
Because there's somebody out there that grew up with a trust fund and they were sheltered and they vacationed every month, and they gonna tell you, what do you mean the world's perfect? There's no issues. Racism, what's that? Yeah. So it's just what you know is what you've experienced, and getting to these experiences is moving on to our next topic. So this was a hot topic on the internet. People love running with trends and shit like that. So they're running with this red flag trend. Little background. Red flag, it was just people were giving situations or statements that people were made, like a guy saying like, "Oh, you showered without me." Red flag, you feel me? Like, I thought this trend was actually hilarious. Yeah, because you get to see what people deem as problematic, and some of these things were completely valid, and some of these shit was just like, all right, clearly you're the only one that feels like that.
Yeah.
That shouldn't even get that many.
So and is that beneficial? Because it's dope. Because like someone could say something stupid and immediately the world could be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Well, I wonder how that person reacts though. But we're gonna talk about it later with the Dave Chappelle thing.
Yeah.
That could actually have negative effects with that story.
Yeah.
But then sometimes if someone could maybe, I don't know how people do it, like, wow, I'm really tripping for this. I'm gonna change this belief. How often you think that happens?
We talked about that. Like when everyone in the room is talking about like, yo, you ever, and you think it's something that's specific to you and everyone agrees it's like the best feeling. Like, yo, I do that too.
Yeah.
And then when you have that one boy like, yo, you ever da-da-da, and then everybody's like, nigga, what you talking about? I ain't never do that in my life.
That nigga just be like,
Yeah, like,
sorry.
so like, nah, a lot of ones I seen were funny. A lot of the ones I seen were like, you had some people doing like more political ones and shit like that, but it was a really good exercise.
Do you guys think a political party is a red flag? Personally,
like if somebody says they have a political
straight
party?
opinion. Like someone's like, I don't like. Say someone had a complete opposite political views. Could you date them?
No.
Really?
I think being too
opposite doesn't work.
Not too much to one side is a red flag. Because if you're so much on one side that you're not even trying to understand the other side, you're just like, anything that comes over from over there is nonsense.
Okay,
I don't want to hear nothing they're
yeah.
saying because they're idiots. That's a red flag. Because
you're
it's like,
an idiot.
you don't even know what they're saying. What if they're saying something like, hey, this is beneficial for both of us? Nope.
You know,
like,
I like that. It's the radicalness.
Yeah,
of it, right?
that's a red
what
flag.
I also don't like is like when people say to themselves like, oh, they're a Democrat, I can't talk to them. Oh, they're a Republican, I can't talk to them. Someone's like, all Democrats want socialism, or someone's like, all Republicans are racist. To me, you're both. That's not true. Like that's
that
not
just
true.
comes with like the ignorance of the world, though.
Yeah.
Like people aren't ever like really. We talk about this all the time. People aren't ever really like educated or like really know what the fuck they're talking about, so they kind of just be like, yeah, this is this, like everything's so topical to everybody, so they'll be like, yeah, this is this, and like I just don't like it. But when you start asking more questions, like, so like what is it that you really like are not understanding? Like, how did you get racism like from Republicans? Like, where did you find that out, like, type shit. So it's just like, I don't know.
If you going into a conversation too, no matter what it is, with your mind made up already,
right?
Like, there's really no need for the conversation, because you're not even trying to like, if I'm like, all right, I think this person is doing up to some sneaky shit, or they're cheating, or doing whatever, right? And I go into the conversation, I'm like, Tell me in this conversation why you cheated, instead of trying to figure out if they cheated. Like, the whole conversation, anything other than what you want to hear is going to seem like a lie, because you already have your mind made up that that's the truth. So if it's not going to be beneficial to both parties, that's why sometimes you got to be like, with red flags, like, you have to, what's a red flag and what is something that's completely like a deal breaker between us? Because
a red flag.
you have to realize, like, all right, that may be a red flag, might be like, all right, that might be a problem in the future, but a deal breaker might be like, nigga, I can't deal with that in any type of way.
A red flag would be like, I wouldn't even approach the person, I wouldn't even talk to them.
Nah, like, I think a red flag is just like
we're dating and you say something, I'm like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, you're kind of, you just like, a red flag is almost like a mental no, almost. And if you get enough of them shits, you're like, all right, fuck it.
If someone,
I don't know so many people that's out on the first red flag.
All right, so for me, parent issues. If you have issues with, like, really strong issues with your parents, like,
that's a red flag.
That's a red flag to me.
I understand that, though.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one now. I would say a red flag for me is like how affected you are by like things that happen to you and like how you carry it. So like if you're at work and fucking Joanne that's just in accounting, she said some sneaky shit in the break room, and now you're coming home at 6 o'clock with a whole attitude because of that. Like, yeah, come home, be annoyed by it, get it off your chest. But if you don't fucking talk to, like, you feel me? Like, hold up, you let Joanne ruin your whole goddamn day. That's a waste of a fucking Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
I don't know. I think a red flag would be, I've dated a lot of guys that like to, I don't know, rush I guess.
Rush things.
Rush things, yeah. But not only rush things like between us, but just like rush things with like life. Like it wasn't like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's
No,
more
I
of
know
like,
exactly what you're saying.
more of like comparing their lives.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, things like that to kind of turn me off, because it's like I feel like we're all kind of on our own journey, and like you work hard for where you're at. So I feel like you should take your time, but that's a big red flag.
So I mean, I'm gonna ask a question, because I think what I saw too was like people were talking about red flags, but no one was talking about like the mitigation of them. So what if someone's like, yeah, I really have issues with my parents, like what I said, I have issues with my parents, but we're in therapy working on it. Is it still a red flag?
It's interesting. How do you feel about that? Because that's what you said.
I think it would make me feel better about the situation. Like maybe the flag went yellow. The flag went to yellow because it could yellow because maybe they're not consistent and their parents do therapy for a week and they just never go back.
All right.
Back to red. But they're going strong. Things are getting better. They've been in therapy for, a week went to 8 months, and now that's a green flag. So it turns yellow.
Another red flag for me is someone who has a problem with everything.
True.
Like, why is it raining? Like that type of person? Oh, it's raining today.
Oh my god, bro! If you have an issue with everything, bro, I'm like, my nigga, what doesn't bother you, bro? Like,
yeah, just chill the
everything
fuck out.
bothers you. Like, to me, you got your little pet peeves. You got your whatever. Like, people are set in their ways. I completely understand that.
Yeah.
But for you to be on some shit, like you like everybody's like, yo, I want to get pizza. You want pizza again, my nigga? What?
I just had pizza.
We just have like you're the only, you combat everything. You got a problem with everything. Like that to me is a red flag, guy or girl. For
Be
me,
mad,
that shit is
annoying,
annoying as hell.
like, Aggie complaining all the time.
Yeah, man.
I hate complainers.
I don't know if this is crazy. Well, actually, ladies, your turn. I'm sorry.
No.
Wait, is it? Who turns?
No,
it?
It's no turns. Go.
Okay, I was gonna say,
It's no turn.
bro, when people are overly emotional people,
Oh man.
like both ends, like say someone losing 2K, what the fuck, like start throwing I can't be around you, or say something happens, you just start crying. It's like, like this is
What
awkward.
are you doing?
You know what I always found comical?
What?
When you tell an angry person they're emotional and they get even angrier, it's like, I just told you you're emotional, which means you display emotions. And to combat that, you showed more emotions.
I know more. What the fuck you mean?
Like, I ain't emotional. Is angry not an emotion? If you're an angry person, you're emotional. They think emotional means like crying and like sad all the time. That's one emotion.
Yeah, people
Right.
are out of their mind.
People don't understand that though.
Emotional
like,
intelligence, EQ.
Facts.
Yeah.
We should make a course.
I can't deal with like people crying. I know that kind of sounds like insensitive, but like if you start crying to me,
Jason was like, no. Jay shook his head in the background like,
I
nope.
kind
Is that in agreement?
I'm like,
I was shaking my head about something else.
I'm kind of like one of those people that's like, it's okay. Yeah.
Me, yeah, sometimes too. I'm just, what really gets me, because you guys know at times I could be insensitive. I'm working on it. When people cry for something that seems like no reason, oh my god, I'm just like, in my head I'm like, I want to feel sorry for you, and like, it's okay, but in my head I'm like, I actually don't feel sorry for you, so I gotta try and like fake my feeling sorriness for you.
Yeah, like this is a fixable offense. I hate people that like find problems. Like some things are so easy to fix. Like people that go crazy when like their tires pop and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, bro, just relax, take a deep breath, call
You don't
police.
get it. Like, this is my third flat tire this month.
like,
You got a
bro.
car.
Yeah, I pop a tire maybe once a month, like on some regular shit.
You need to
Like,
get that checked out.
yeah, I probably should not have my license right now, but
oh
like,
wait, what?
yeah, I can't drive.
What
like,
What she
pop
say?
a
We was
tire.
all in the car with her earlier.
They did not get this information before we hopped in the whip.
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah, I made it here safe though.
Yeah, you
so
did.
we
She's a great
good.
driver, by the way.
Word,
Yeah.
blessings.
She really is a great
Yo,
driver.
Jason, I get a ride home?
Yeah, but like it's just like little shit, and they make little shit into big shit. Like just chill. Like things are life that's the most precious thing, that we have chances and we're able to make mistakes and fix them. And right now we're in stages of our life that we can fix things, thankfully. Like, you know, we're still in the process of growing. We're not like so far, so old that, like, you know, we kind of just wasted all of our lives. Like,
God bless.
Yeah.
Facts.
Like,
Facts.
we have time.
Yeah, that's definitely a red flag for me too. Like pessimistic people.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying I'm the most optimistic person.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't. If I feel pessimism, I don't display it. Like, I'm never gonna listen to someone unless, like, well, it's situational. But I don't listen to people say things about stuff, and I'll be like, oh, you know what? That's not gonna work because of this, or that's not gonna work because like, you might say to me, like, I might have an idea, and you be like, all right, you have to look out for these things, or you feel me? That's different. That's more of a roadmap than you being like, that's not gonna work. Yeah. You're not giving the person why. You're not giving the person a reason why it's not gonna work. Yeah. You're not offering any solutions into how to make it work. Like, a person that just does shit like that, like, I can't be around.
You know what gets me people too? Because, and going off your point, people who try to say, "Oh, I'm not a pessimist. I'm just real. I'm a realist."
You're a real dumbass.
You're cat.
You're
bro.
a real dumbass.
Because, like, to your point, where give an example, someone could be like, "Oh no, I'm not being pessimistic. I'm just being real." Like, someone would be like, "Yo, all right, you're in a football game. This is a real simple example. You're in a football game. You're down 14, start of the fourth quarter. Someone like, man, this game over. We lost." And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like,
it's not true.
We got a whole fourth quarter left to win the game. Like, we're gonna have more than 2 possessions. Right. We can still win. Like, but I'm just being real. People don't come back down 14. Like, to me, that's not being realistic. That's being a pessimist. You feel me? But being real could be like, man, I can't believe 100,000 people just died. I don't know why I thought that weird, but
that was a terrible example.
Yo, my fault. If someone's like, yo, 100,000 people just died, it's not being pessimistic to state that. That's real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just real. It's not being pessimistic, but I hate people who try to get those two confused.
Yeah. We also live in a generation where, like, it's very easy to, like, give up and, like, go on to something new than to just like continue and, like, really stick through to what we want to do. You know what I mean? We're so, like, easy and so, like, easily influenced to be like, yeah, fuck that shit. Like, we can find something better, or we can find what really is our niche. But, like, how do you know something's your niche if you never stick through with it?
Bro, and even, like, bro, we're you could tell, like, we live, especially in America, we live in such a special time because our grandparents, when they were in their 20s, they didn't have time to be like, well, I'm just not doing nothing right now. I'm just gonna wait until I find my passion. Bro, my grandpa told me he's working 3 jobs.
Okay.
There was no time to be sit around and do nothing. Like, I'm just find my passion. Twiddle your thumbs around.
not just 3 jobs. Repeat what you said before. How many hours a week did he sleep?
Bro, he said he was sleeping 6 hours a week. This is how different he was.
There's 7 days in a week.
Yeah, he said,
he
bro,
didn't get a full hour a day.
Bro, he's nuts. He said, he said, man, when I was young, man, I used to work 3 jobs and go to the bar. That's insane, bro.
Yeah.
God bless, bro.
But
God
it's like
bless.
they had a different life. Like, we have so many distractions.
We're too comfortable.
Yeah, like, we don't care to, like, sit here and really, like, talk. We care to, like, sit on our toilet or, like, wake up in the morning and, like, get on our phones and sit there for an hour instead of, like, maybe getting up in the morning and be like, hey, you want to grab a cup of coffee? You want to go out? That's what they used to do. They used to get up and walk outside. Like, the first thing they did was get up, get ready, walk outside, get a newspaper, get a coffee, talk to people at the corner store. Like, it was way, way different than how times are now. Now we get up, we call people, we, get on social media. It's different.
So this is the average. Damn. So this is the average person who watches TV 4 hours a day.
I think so.
And then how much time do people spend on their phones a day?
Way more TV than that.
Because I'm thinking, if you work 3 jobs, right? So most people work a job, have a job. So then if they're spending 4 hours on their phone, and then 4 hours a day watching TV, that's another 8 hours. So that's a whole nother full-time job. Yeah.
So that's possibly what could have been done. It could have been, he probably
4 hours a day, 28 hours a week.
He probably had one full-time job.
TV. What about phone now? Because you got to add that to the phone.
What, phone usage?
Yeah, how many hours people spend on their screen? Because
average screen time.
People watch TV and go on their screen.
Yeah.
So what are you saying, Lay?
I said that's probably how it was split up.
This is for adults, so that's specific. But it says 7 7 hours and 11 minutes is the average.
On their
Screen
phone.
time?
Yeah.
That's
Plus
what I
the
was going to
four-
say,
plus
6
the
hours.
4 TV hours.
Nigga, your whole day is gone.
Yeah.
That's, yo.
And I believe it, though, because you have to think, like, once you sit down and you start scrolling, you look at the time and be like, oh, fuck. I don't know if that ever happens to you guys, but, like, a lot of the times that's why I delete my social media, because, like, it's not that I intentionally, like, you know, it's just like a force of habit, picking it up, scrolling, putting it down.
Yeah.
Picking it up, scrolling, putting it down. It's just like, you know, like you just get into that, I guess, that motor, like that motion, and it's like you want to keep picking shit up, and it's like so bad for you because your whole day goes wasted by.
Yep. And it's kind of hard to to like differentiate between like social media and reality for certain people, because they'll think like their whole life is just like a post, or I'm going out to eat to this place because I saw it on TikTok, or I'm doing this because I saw it here, I'm doing this because so it's like you start to like mix the two together, and it becomes ugly. And it's like, to me,
I say something.
I don't hold on, forget, but like I don't like hearing people use like things that are specific, like slogans that like people are using on the internet and stuff like that, because like now it starts to become like your whole identity is from an app. Like, oh, it's this for me, it's that, like, all, like, all right, it's cool if things are like, none of us were saying cat a few years ago. That's something that found its way into our vocabulary, and I'm fully aware of it. I'm fine with it.
No
But
cap.
you can't hear me say a sentence and the whole sentence sounded like a Twitter post from like a few months ago.
Yeah, and I would say, what I was gonna say is you got to give people a little bit of grace, because like naturally built into us, our subconscious mind can't tell the difference between what's real and fake. So, say for instance, if you just imagine things are a certain way, your subconscious automatically thinks it's real.
Yeah.
And your body reacts, and you react that way. So you gotta give people a little bit of grace, because it's kind of built into being human, and it kind of takes a skill set to be like, I know this is fake, I know this is real. Like to separate the two actually takes a certain skill set. So just, I would say, give people a little bit of grace in that area. It's tough.
It is a skill though, to, I guess, and it's sad that you have to say that, because it's just like, it should be like, especially our generation and like the generation like right before us, like we got like all the technology and stuff like halfway through our lives. Like I remember we had like maybe like a leapfrog when we were kids. Like now they have fully immersive iPads and this and that. But now they have like fully. What happened?
No, I was trying to get a picture and I wanted your face in it.
Oh.
So I was trying to get like a candid.
He was trying to get a picture.
Of you guys
And it's that, you know, I've been paying attention to this. I've been watching Jace work behind the scene this whole time. I really appreciate it. He's been taking photos, switching cameras. I know you guys don't see that, so we give him a shout out. He's been working hard back there.
Snaps
He doesn't just press record and lay back down, you know what I'm saying? So
I'm fucking screaming.
Damn, Snake listening. That's crazy.
what? No.
If you listen to this, you know who you are.
No. Wow.
I'm joking. All right, and this week's song of the week is a very close family friend, my boy Marcus. You know, grew up 3 houses down from me. He's a tremendous singer songwriter. His new album actually just released a few weeks ago. It's called Rocket Equation, and this is not a single off the album, but this is a single. His new single is called All the Smoke. He goes by the name Teen AF. Like I said, amazing vocal ability. The music is great. He makes like R&B, soul type of, you know, alternative music, so it's very vibey. So, you know, it's you play it in the right settings, you know, definitely relax and catch a vibe to that. So, song of the week is Teen AF, All the Smoke. That's on all streaming platforms. Go listen to that and listen to it right now.
First of all, girl, I'm trying to hit that. You say you love it when a nigga is honest. So fall in love, can you make me a promise? Been there, done that, seen it all. It can get a little messy when the feelings involved. Girl, don't be shy. Take them panties off and throw them on a nightstand. I know you've been waiting on the right man. Back it up just like a hype man. I want all the smoke. I want all the smoke. And I ain't just talking that shit, girl. Tell me if you don't. Cause I want all the smoke. I want all the smoke. And I ain't just talking that shit, girl. Tell me if you don't. that you feeling me. You in love with that big dick energy. I'ma set the bar high for the next nigga. Have your body crying when I'm sexing you. All night, all night. You been looking for the right one. I beat the pussy like Tyson with it. Swag like an icon with it. So tell me if you're trying to vibe, cause I want all the smoke. I want all the smoke. And I ain't just talking that shit, girl. Tell me if you don't. Cause I want all the smoke. I want all the smoke. And I ain't just talking that shit, girl. Tell me if you don't. Cause I want all the smoke. I want all the smoke. And I ain't just talking that shit, girl. Tell me if you don't. If you don't. Cause I want all the smoke. Fuck with me. I want all the smoke. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I ain't just talking that shit, girl. Tell me if you don't. If you don't.
Yeah, man. I really like the song. I really like the song. I really like the song. He produced it?
Yeah, that's all him right there. Once again, that was Tina F. That was his new single, All the Smoke. His new album is out, Rocket Equation. His home team right there, man. Support. Go listen, stream the stuff. Yeah, just see if you like it, man. He definitely has a very unique music style. I would say he's very through like his old projects and like to what he does now. He's very versatile in what he can do. Yeah, I really enjoy his stuff. Always have.
Nice.
Word. It was tough. I liked it. Very vibey. Definitely gives me like I don't want to say Brett. Gives me more of like a Frank vibe.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I would say like Frank, like Arles. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that type of.
I fuck
vibe.
with it though. I like music like that.
Yeah,
Tough.
definitely enjoy it. But yeah, that's a good thing about music and art. It's all up for interpretation. Sometimes it's for people, sometimes it's not. And speaking of art, Chris brought in something today. He brought in a prompt that we wanted to talk about. So, Chris, give the people little details on what we was chatting about a little earlier before we started recording.
Pull it up. All right, so this is the famous painting done by Michelangelo on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. So this is the famous painting of he has Adam's hand and God's hand touching, right?
It's like the fingers.
Yeah, the fingers touching. So if you pay close attention to the picture, the painting,
Mm-hmm.
the right hand is supposed to be God's hand, the left hand is Adam's hand. God's hand in the painting is fully extended, but Adam's hand is not. It's almost he won't fully extend his whole hand to touch God's hand. If he fully extended his hand, he would touch God. So the Michelangelo did this to show the fact that God's hand is always extended. He's always trying to reach you. He's always there if you want him or need him in your life. But Adam's hand not being extended shows humans' negligence to extend their hand and actually reach out to God, go touch God, to be one with God, to really have that relationship with God. So it's actually humans the ones stopping themselves from having that relationship with God. And depending on what your religion is, a lot of them believe that the whole premise about demigod is that there's a God within you. Christians say you're the son of God, or Jesus said and when he spoke, he said, Jesus and God. Jesus always said him and God were one, but then the Bible says, "Let the mind that was in Jesus be within you." Mm-hmm. So if the man believed he was one with God, and he's saying, "Let the mind that was in Jesus be within you," it's meaning having that connection. But most people don't do that. You know what I mean? And what that's associated with: a high level of conscience, being more empathetic, having high character, all these things that always get associated with having God-like. And Eastern culture thinks the same thing. There's a God inside of us. So I thought that painting was so interesting because it's saying, wow, like if we ever want to as humans, we can always have that, but we're actually the ones holding ourselves back from it. Mm-hmm. We like to make excuses, we like to blame outside sources, we like to say all these things, but in reality, we're the ones stopping ourselves from having that relationship. So I thought that shit was super interesting, so I shared it with you guys.
Yeah.
Would you guys consider yourselves religious or spiritual?
I'm spiritual.
Spiritual.
I don't have a religion personally.
I have a religion, but I don't subscribe to the traditional religious practices. Like I pray, I read. I prefer like devotionals and stuff like that over like just reading the Bible back to front, because like the devotional, it'll tell you what the scripture is, how to apply it, kind of give you like excerpts and like tell you what to look for to give you like prayer focus. So I've read 2 devotionals. My boy Noah got me into devotionals in prep school, so I definitely want to give a shout out to him for that. Because along my journey, that's helped me out a lot. And I just feel like, everybody has their own interpretation on how to, interact with God. And, now, it's a touchy subject to talk about religion and stuff like that. But whatever your religion is, whatever the higher power is in your religion, I think it's important to, keep that personal relationship. And like you said, like with the painting in the Sistine Chapel, it's important to realize that there's always someone above you that you can reach out to. And I think that what we kind of forget is we get lost in our own ways, or people will be like, oh, like, why does God have to do this? Or why does my life have to be like that? Or why does this have to happen? And things happen sometimes where it may seem like a really tragic event. And within a scale, like, he doesn't do anything that isn't purposeful. So, like, you may be experiencing something that may seem like really, like, it's impossible to deal with. I can't go through this. I can't do this. I can't do that. But it's something that you can go through because you were put here for a reason. And I think it's important to realize what that reason is and to keep yourself motivated on the everyday scheme to like, all right, I'm going to do this so I can be better. And to me, I always kind of like realize within my own culture and like my friends' cultures, like, the similarities. And I remember when I was younger, one of my friends, his dad had passed, and I was at his house, and he happened to be of the Muslim faith, and like his mom was like talking to us, and he was telling us, he was like that she was saying like, stay pure of heart, because like in the Muslim religion, it's like they believe that babies are completely like sin free, because babies can't sin.
Of course, yeah.
And that's why they say like babies can like tell auras, and like if you pass a baby to a person that's like a bad person, like the baby start crying, stuff like that, or you'll hear like kids talking about them seeing stuff, because that is your closest relation to the outside realm, because you just came within this realm. So they're saying like the more things you do to sin and the more things you do of the flesh, you get a veil over it, and you start losing those abilities, and then eventually you start losing the ability to see right from wrong, and then that's when your judgment comes. But the more you stay pure of heart, the more you'll have that connection with the other side. You'll be able to feel things, and like, because I don't know, like I feel like a lot of people that go through things and they made it out of that, they kind of have a understanding of this is something that's not explainable, and it's something that may not be of this earth, but I trust it. And that's why walk by faith, not by sight. It's not about you understanding it necessarily. It's about you trusting that it's there to protect you, and understanding the fact that there's things that aren't understandable. It sounds cliche, or it sounds weird, but you have to trust in that. Like, you have to be able to walk down this path and just know, like, I don't care if I can't see, I don't care whatever's going on down there, like, I know I'm protected because like I'm prayed up, and then you have people praying for you, and that pray for yourself. So I think all that stuff is definitely really important.
Yeah, in the picture it had mentioned something about like free will, and I thought that was interesting, because like I feel like we have free will in a sense. Like, it's like I think big things in our lives are predetermined to happen to us. Like, those were meant for us to then decide how we'll move from that situation moving forward. I think a lot of our things have shifted us into the person that we are today, and either we could be this person that we are, or we could be the other way that we could have been, because I know we've all been in a rock and a hard place, and we've like all kind of gotten our way and found our light or whatever. So I feel like to that extent that's free will, but some things I feel like are predetermined. Like, we kind of like meant for us to happen. Like some things are meant for us to experience.
Yeah.
Everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So it's definitely always important to remember those things, and that you have. I mean, depending on what you subscribe to, you know, you have things around you set in place, whether it be family, faith, even something as simple as like, you know, going to work out. Just a I feel like everybody needs a commitment to something. Like even people who are bad people, like they kind of commit to, you know, being the best criminal they can be. But everybody needs to be able to commit to like working out, you know, faith. What it doesn't matter what it is. Some people commit to the wrong things, which are, you know, the issues. Some people pick up a bottle and commit to that. Some people commit to, you know, adultery and shit like that. But you have the ability and the free will to choose what you're associating yourself with. And I feel like the reflection of you as a person comes from within those choices. So like we decided to commit to doing a podcast, coming in every week, trying to better ourselves, trying to further our thinking, trying to understand things, trying to have conversations for other people, for transparency, and so that people can see like, you know what, these are a group of kids. Because even though we all like to feel like we're grown, we are kids in the grand scheme of the world, but these are a group of kids that, you know, are trying to find their way, or they're trying to figure out how they fit in the scheme of how things are. And, you know, we are not, you not a super city girl, we not, you know, city boys and shit like that, but we also not like super, you know? So it's like kind of like drifters. So it's like seeing that and having that ability for people to, you know, come and like be a part of your journey. I feel like even that, like that's something that you commit to being a positive. You know, we've committed to football. You guys have committed to lacrosse before. So it's just don't commit your time to the wrong things, and don't have those energies around you.
Yeah, I think I'm a personal big believer in free will. I believe in free will so much because if you look at all the companies or all the people in the world or all the government bodies who are trying to control your free will, I think that lets you know just how important and how powerful it really is. I think a lot of people don't take enough responsibility for their lives, and they're so quick to put it on third parties that they never really grasp the true power they have, and that's in free will. Like, your life is made, regardless of what happens to you, like a lot of things are out of your control, but your life is going to be what you make of it. You know what I mean? And I don't care what position you're put in life. I think the more responsibility you take for your life, the more like true control you have over it. So you could be born in a bad situation, but if you just harp on the fact that you were born in a bad situation and always give responsibility to the outcome of your life on that bad situation, then you're only going to get what life gives you.
Right.
No.
But if you're someone who goes, you know what, I'm going to be made and broken on the choices I make in life, and you really set out on that, and you really, every decision you make in your life, you really think about it, you'll end up where you want to be. You know what I mean? But I think all that is bent on free will. You know, you look at the government, companies, that's what when they market to you, when they advertise, they want your free will. They want to be able to control what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just the fact that they're really fighting and spending billions of dollars for that lets you know, like, damn, my free will is worth billions of dollars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's crazy. To me, that makes it easy for me to think about. Like, wow.
It's funny when you think about putting like a price tag on stuff like that. But those things are really important just because it's human nature to want to be able to do for self, you know, and it's not. I feel like it's not uncommon for people to feel like they don't have control over their lives, but I feel like it's a very like, I don't know, naive way of thinking that you don't think that you could completely control everything that goes on around you. Like you choose when to wake up, you choose when to talk to certain people, you choose so many things organically in your life. So I don't do like compound effect. Like, how do you think all these small choices don't add up to you ultimately wanting to be your own person?
And back to the previous question about religion. That's why, like, I don't have a religion. I feel like I'd be a fraud if I told someone I had a religion, because I learned so much about God from other religions that weren't Christianity. You know what I mean? I listen to like Taoist, Buddhist, and I watch a lot of videos of Muslim speakers like Malcolm X or any other Farrakhan. I watch their videos. You know, I've read merely Christianity. I've read the Bible. Like, I read Proverbs. Like, so I've gotten so much insight from different religions that they all help me see and understand better what God is. And like for Eastern philosophy, some of them believe that like the same word we use for God, if you translate them, they would use for like the way things are going, like the way in God, like the way of the path, like. And they believe like sometimes you gotta really like if you get quiet and like say you like prayer, if you get quiet, spend some time to yourself, block out the surrounding world and really get quiet and think to yourself, that's when you'll really start to get hidden, like people say, like you get hidden messages. Because when you get so quiet that there's no other outside distraction, like I was talking about before, like sitting off your phone, like, and you really just get to yourself, things will start popping up in your head. You'll start seeing things for what they truly are. You might remember or notice things you never noticed before. And you'll really leave those sessions like, wow, this is the way my life is like. This is why my life is this way. And then you'll see like, holy shit, it's because of this decision, this decision, this decision, this decision. The way of all those decisions led up to this. And now you can start seeing, okay, I want to get this goal up here. The way of my decisions are going to lead up to that. And if you learn how to harness that, and in certain moments when there's like a fork in the road, and my grandpa was telling me about this when I went to Virginia, he goes, everyone believes there's a fork in the road, like you got to go left or right. He goes, I've learned in my 74 years to, at the fork in the road, just stop and start to think about where does this road lead? Where does this road lead? Do I want the result of this down the future? And you stop and think to yourself, and then you can start going through the proper way. And life doesn't have to be such this struggled entanglement of like frustration and aggression, because you can relax and realize how things are going are the way things are supposed to be. Yeah. And the way things are supposed to be is what's going to get you to where you want to go. But you need to slow down and stop and think to yourself and say, okay, I don't need to fight and tussle with the moment. I need to work with the moment, and working with the moment is going to get me to where I want to go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But that's what a lot of these religions are trying to teach people, and saying become one with God. Because the more you become one with God, one with reality, one with what's really going on, you'll make way better decisions and end up in a way better life. And life doesn't have to be so stressful, so hard, so much friction, because you're fighting against the way things are, and you can't change the way things are. So you're so busy fighting against it that you're not working with it. Yeah. And it makes life way more difficult than it has to be, you know? But I've learned that from so many different religions that I can't just be like, I'm a Christian. Yeah. That'd be lying.
I think understanding that too, like even the people that don't necessarily subscribe to religion, like you look at something as simple as like science, right? Well, it's not simple, but you look at something like science and they have like placebo effects. Where it's like, oh, you get somebody a pill, they think that it does this, so they'll start doing things and they'll believe it. Like those parabalance bands and all that stuff, right? And it's like, maybe even if you don't believe what they believe in, or you think that what they believe in is a fluke, their beliefs of going out into the world, knowing that they're divinely protected, saying that there's someone that has a plan for me, and it's the best for me, and I can go out, and if I apply myself and I do positive things and do good onto the world, good things will happen to me. That's not a bad idea, regardless of what you put it in. Even if it wasn't to in regards of a higher power. If you just went out into that as a practice in your everyday life, that's something good. But then you also have the other side of it, where there's the people that you give them the placebo and they think that it's too much of it. Like the people that think like, you know, I have to go out and I have to live every single day. Like, no, it's okay. I'm not saying you're supposed to sin, but there's a reason that you have prayer, that you can repent for your sins, because there's that gray area of God understanding that these things are going to happen. You're going to, because you have to live your life to see, I shouldn't have went down that path. Like, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that. So you understanding those things are only putting you in a position to better those things for yourself. Like, you understand, like, I can't do this because it's like that. Like, it's a Tuesday, I'm not even going to go out. I'm not going to, because I know I need to have myself set for my week. Like, you know from experience, because you probably went out on a Tuesday before. You've done some shit, and you're like, damn, now it's a Wednesday, and it fucked my whole week up. Yeah. You feel me? So you have to go through certain things to understand that. So I think for most people, you have to understand that it's not just about, you know, serving a God, as well as whatever, you know, your religious practice are. It's also about serving yourself. And if you view yourself as a child of God, and if you view yourself as a person, just in general, you want to put yourself in the best position to succeed.
Yeah.
And if you feel like he has that plan for you, why wouldn't you want to follow his plan?
And bro, and to your point, bro, I don't think most people even know that. Like, I don't think a lot of people truly know their religion. Like, I think a lot of Christians don't know what the definition of sinning is. And it's like, how could you truly be in the faith if you don't even know what one of the major words in your religion means? Like, sinning, if you really translate it back to the original word, means to miss the mark. That's what it means. So you really take that into account. Oh, wait, so when I'm sinning, I'm missing the mark. I'm missing the mark of maybe the life I want to live. I'm missing the mark of being someone of high character. I'm missing the mark of reaching my goal. Like, I'm just missing the mark. But to miss the mark doesn't mean you can't redirect your aim and fix it. You know what I mean? But people have such a misconception. Like, they sin and they're like, oh my God, I'm a terrible person. I'm like, it's like, whoa, wait a minute now. You know, were you listening? Or how many Christians have really read Proverbs and really applied what it's telling them to apply? If you did, there are a lot of things and mistakes that we make now that even as America, as a Christian society, you're like, you guys are not reading this because it tells you don't do that. Like, it gives you advice. That's what it's about. It's like, hey, a wise man has many counselors. You know, talks about finding a good woman. It talks about what it means to be a good man. It talks about, and it's like all these things. It talks about not being lazy. It talks about waking up early in the morning to get your work done. All in Proverbs.
And to piggyback off your point, you have to listen to those keywords because you have to understand what is meant by that, right?
Yeah.
And what's meant by that is they don't say don't do bad things. Bible doesn't say don't be bad, don't be a terrible person. It always talks about flesh, right? Because a human doesn't understand. It's flesh because, like, that's just your animalistic instincts. So when you stray away from your flesh and you realize that this is just a vessel and, like, my spirit is what matters, and you look to raise your spirit and have, like, divinity about yourself, and you look at yourself in a light, you're like, yo, I have to hold myself to a higher standard because, like you said, you're missing the mark. So when you're living in the flesh, it's not that you're living bad. You're living like a person that doesn't understand. And even that, they leave room to make sure, you feel me, that you can come back from that. So, you know, we definitely just got religious, but without getting too religious, you know, I think
spiritual.
Yeah. Yeah, spiritual, not religious. But like we were talking about the painting. It's important to understand those things that are set for you in your life, and to understand that the free will choices that you have. And with those choices come certain outcomes. Now, with certain decisions that you make within free will, you know, you have to live with those certain decisions. And something we were talking about earlier to segue, we were talking about, you know, having kids, having children with people. And then people love to make the whole premise that, the person that I had a child with is this and they're that and all this other stuff, right? And I was having a conversation yesterday with my brother's girl, who my brother has children with, and we were speaking about a situation, and then she was saying that, like, how she knows so many situations where girls, like, have, like, babies with men or males, because you don't even want to call them men because they don't act like men, but babies with males, and they get to be just doing crazy shit. And then she was saying that, like, she'll hear people say stuff like that, like, oh, I didn't choose them, and I said to her, I'm like, what people don't realize is, like, people will have a baby with someone 4 or 5 months into being with them, right? And we spoke about it here before. The cupcake phase is literally a phase of y'all two just capping. That's when they're like, oh, when the cupcake phase is over, that's when y'all start arguing this and it's like, no, when y'all put out
real shit,
what's really out, and you figure out that what the person I'm dealing with is not the person that I want to be with, and it's not just the idea of the person, that's when that phase is over. That's why we was having a conversation on the last episode, and we're saying, if you have these conversations flat, it may seem like a lot, but if you can weed that shit out early, you'll know how a person is, and you won't have to go through that whole cupcake phase.
Waste your time.
So you'll be in a cupcake phase with someone. Oh, this person is everything I need. They're everything I want. You have a baby with them, and then after that, they're like, oh yeah, she just got crazy after she had the baby. No, she didn't.
She was like that.
She was like that. Like, or even vice versa. Like, oh yeah, after I had the baby, he did this or he wasn't doing that. He brought his PS5 hospital and was playing 2K while you was giving birth.
You knew him.
You knew
I
that.
would kill a nigga.
But
that's why I can't do it.
See, that's what you gotta know. Like she's saying, like that phase ends when you start telling the truth. Like when you really start saying, like, yo, when you say this, and this, I really don't like it.
Yeah.
And then you see how that person reacts to you saying that. If they're like, well, I don't care, yada yada yada, this and that, and or if they're like, oh, you don't like when I do that, well, let's talk about it. Let's figure something out. What type of person that is. But if you the whole time just, you guys are just not really just having fun, just having sex, having fun, whatever they say, yes, baby, yes, okay. I mean, eventually it's gonna come out. Like when you start living it, it's gonna come out. So you better as well just get it out early. You know what I mean? As soon as possible. Why wait? What's that? Just waste your time with me. Like you want me doing that for the rest of your life? Especially with us. Like we're getting 25, 27, 20. No, old now, but we getting towards the kids' time. It's time for kids and everything. But
it was always confusing to me how light it was for people to just be like, oh yeah, like I'm having a kid. Like that, not only is that a life-altering event,
crazy,
right? But you're bringing another life into this world, and then you have to cooperate with somebody to raise this child to be a decent human being.
Yeah, man.
That is not something that's like that's not a little like damn your brother had a kid. Like no, your life just changed, bro. You just brought what you are right now. You just brought that into the world, bro.
That's what you bring.
So it's like I don't understand how people just see it as just like.
Fishing.
You feel me? We are irresponsible sometimes. Sometimes people slip up, make mistakes, whatever the case may be. Okay, but just how casual it is of just like people just, and it's like, yo, you need to make sure there's a person that, God forbid, something happens to you, you're completely 100% sure this person is capable of raising your child, whether you're male or female.
Yes,
you feel me? Not only that, you have to make sure there's a person that has the patience, the capability of understanding, there's so many factors that go, like Chris was talking about it. For me, we ain't gonna give too much detail, but Chris was talking about a situation where he was saying that he doesn't like how people try to, like, they'll treat their kids as burdens, as if they didn't choose to have a child.
Right.
And it's like, I mean, you could definitely go more in depth into it, but like I completely agreed with him because I'm Absolutely. Like, bro, that it makes no sense. And it's like, it's not like someone dropped it off on you. Like your aunt, your aunt was like, yo, I know you had plans tonight, but I need you to babysit your little cousin. All right, that's something you can't control. All right,
yeah,
they just dropped them off on you, whatever. You feel me? But it's like, no, you had sex, you saw the test,
you knew what sex happened.
You waited 9 months. You pushed them out. You changed the diapers.
And you decided to have sex unprotected.
Yeah, so it's like, bro.
And you decided not to be on birth control.
Come on, bro.
And you decided not to take that plan B.
And you decided, to And then you decided not to get away for adoption. Mm-hmm. And then you decided to start raising it.
A lot of factors, man.
What?
And then you decided to live in Texas.
Honestly, I don't care. Joking. Listen,
I'm sorry, guys.
I know how people go. Listen, I don't know how. What'd you say?
I said, and then you decide to live in Texas.
Oh yeah, but bro, for real, I don't want to disrespect nobody, bro. But I think
jokes, guys.
You're better to give the kid up for adoption and then sit there and treat the kid like a burden for because now you're gonna raise an adult who's gonna need therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Just be miserable.
Like the kid's gonna need therapy now because you were a terrible mother to it for 18 years.
Yeah.
Just give the kid up to a family that can't have kids and is praying to God they get a child.
You know what we don't talk about often too? Like women and their daughters. Like it seems like there's like it seems like it there's like a disconnect with like women and their daughters. Like it like they'll be softer and like more gentle with their sons before they're with their daughters. Like it's very like I know a couple girls, and including myself, like I love my mom to death. That's my girl, and I know she'll do anything for me, but like it's oftentimes like a power struggle. And even like when you're younger, like it's always like I don't know, I don't really know how to explain
let me ask you a question then.
Yeah.
So I was watching a podcast or I listened to something on YouTube where they were talking about that, and they said sometimes with mothers is like they'll be really soft on the boy, is they think about maybe all the relationship the mother might have had in their life and all the interaction they had with men, and it might have been bad, like maybe, you know, that patriarchy type of mindset. So they then try to raise the son to be the opposite of that.
I've never thought of that. Wow.
More soft, more, and then for women, they might be like, wow, like maybe growing up, they felt like they were too soft or something, so they try to make their daughters harder and stronger,
assertive.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I could see that, most definitely.
Overcorrection can always be a problem, though.
Yeah, my mom is super crazy on me. Like, you got to do this, you got to be like this, do that. But, like, as far as my little brother, that nigga be straight cooling. Come in the house, he tell her to make him some dinner, and she go and make him some dinner. I come in the house at my grown age, and I just moved back in with my parents. Why I did that, I don't even fucking know.
Because you human and you got things that you're dealing with.
Whatever. But I'll come in the house, and my mom be like, where you at? My little brother be gone all day, and nobody asks him where the fuck he was at.
Is that cultural, though?
I would say for Caribbeans.
Yeah.
I'm asking, is that cultural?
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like, maybe for Caribbean people, Caribbean people, because I feel like for the most part, culturally or, like, morally, like, we all kind of have, like, the same, like, grounds.
Because I feel like, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but as you're saying it, like, I could tell. Like, in my head, I was like, I would want to know where my daughter's at, but I really wouldn't care too much where my son's at. Yeah. I feel like, you know why? In my head, I'm just like, I feel like my son's, he can handle himself. He gonna take care of what he need to take care of. If he get in a fight, my daughter, I'm like, oh my God, my daughter's out there. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
She could take care of herself if you teach her the right things.
And put my daughter in boxing.
He said it. He said, I'll be worried about my daughter. I'll be worried about Kim. He said, but I ain't worried about Saint.
Saint is little me. I ain't worried about him.
Yeah. No cap, because, like, I don't know. It's just the word. Yeah, overcorrection can always be an issue because you run the risk of creating too much of what you didn't want.
Right.
So you could say, hey, I dealt with a whole bunch of men that are emotionally unavailable in my life. And you may create an overly emotional male. And you may say, I dealt with so much shit in my childhood and I wish I was more assertive. I wish I was able to, you know, be more combative with people. And you might raise an overly aggressive, combative woman. And that's not necessarily a good thing either. So it's like, you have to implement things in the right way, yes. But you also have to do it in the sense of where it makes sense on both sides.
Yep.
It can't be too much of one thing. It can't be too much of this. So you have to say, like, hey, you have to understand when to implement this and when to implement that. You have to give them both skills and let them understand when to use both. Like, hey, if someone's coming at you and they're trying to be aggressive with you, that's when you be assertive. But if someone's coming at you for understanding and you're teaching your child to be assertive when they need to be understanding as well, then you're going to create an ignorant child because you're like, yo, I told that person, like, I just didn't understand why they said this to me, didn't understand, and then they just started fighting me. So it's like, you can't have too much of that. Like me, when I was younger, I was like kind of balanced, but I didn't really understand how to deal with like disrespect. So that's where like most of my issues and like my physical altercations came into play, because it was like, all right, like a person takes it to ultimate level, I mean, which is most thing, and that's male ego, which is very fragile. For all you males out there who's also gonna get have a problem with me saying your ego's fragile, that's your fragile ego talking. Like, so that's all like built with and is wired within us. But like, I'm gonna teach my kid, like, yeah, you can do things like this, but you can also do this, and then teach them when they need to be defending themselves versus when they need to be having conversations with people. For me, I had both, but I, you know, kind of got it mixed up. But yeah. So you just have to know your kids, know who you're having kids with, bro. Because a lot of people, I saw a post, and actually this ties into what we're talking about now, because I had wrote it down like maybe 2 weeks ago. It was a post about a lady. She had a daughter. Her daughter was like 9, and she was saying that her father was like in and out her life when she was like a couple months old, whatever. Then he like disappeared, came back for her 5th birthday, disappeared again for another 4 years, and now she was 9. He was trying to come back. So he came back, he was in her life a couple months or whatever, and then she was saying like now it's about to be her 10th birthday, and like the daughter hasn't spoken to her, did that in like 7 months or whatever. So the post was basically like engaged in conversation. It was saying is there ever a point where it becomes like an inconsistent parent is more detrimental than them not being there at all? So do you think this little girl having her father pop in and out of her life is, I mean, obviously it's a negative thing, but would you rather that and have his inconsistency as a parent and shield your child and say, you know what, if you can't be consistent in my child's life, you're not going to be part of it at all? Because she says when he is around, he is a good dad, he does the right things, but she feels like he has things in his personal life where he just doesn't like to deal with them in front of people, so he'll just go be secluded. And that's his own battles and that's his own demons. But do you guys feel like, as a parent, you kind of have that right to protect your child, one, and then two, is there ever a situation where that inconsistency is better than that parent not being there at all?
I think, obviously, excluding extreme situations. You're going to exclude extreme situations. I think it's never right for another parent to take another parent out of someone's life. You know what I'm saying? Now, as a daughter gets told, she's like, well, I don't want to see you no more. I'm not going to be like, you have to go see your father. I might try to help her. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I'm bringing it from the perspective, but you know what I'm saying? I would never take the mother, like, say, yo, you can't see your mom ever again. I wouldn't do that, me personally. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I lived in a situation where my parents were on two opposite sides of the state, of the country. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm out, like, at times one of them weren't always in my life, it was still nice to, like, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, at least I could call you. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't see you. Yeah, you're not there. Yeah, we don't hang out. Yeah, we don't talk every single day. But at least, like, I have a mom. I have a dad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's, like, I know people who grew up like, I don't even know my dad. Never met him. Never seen him. I really don't have a dad.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy. I think that might be a little bit worse in my opinion.
But I always think about that, and then I think about, like, have leaving the option open, like, all right, when you're ready to come be a parent, right? But then you, like, famous from our childhood, the Fresh Prince episode, how come you don't want me?
Yeah,
Like, that insecurity it can put within it, like, build within a child. And on top of that, if you're the parent that has to, if you can see, it's a pattern, clearly, because he's done it 3 times, right? Just speaking about this one situation.
Yeah.
There's other situations out there, obviously. But as a parent, do you, like, and I know what's going to happen again, like, and I see how she falls apart every single time. Like, the daughter came to the room crying. She's, like, showing her, like, she was, like, showing screenshots of her texting her dad, like, hey, daddy, how you doing today? I hope you're feeling okay. Like, and, like, as a parent, that has to be heartbreaking to see your child put that faith in a person they know is going to be so wishy-washy.
And so I think at times like this, and I listen to Jordan Peterson. He didn't say this about the situation, but it made me think of it. I think at times like this is when you tell the truth. But he says, he always says, he says, we should never lie. He says, you should never lie, even though you can never tell the full truth, because who are you to know what the real truth is? But you should do the best you can to know what the full truth is. So it'd be crazy for her mom to come in and be like, well, your dad's this, and this, and yeah, he don't want you, but don't matter, because I love you and I always do that for you. Or you could be like, you know what, your dad has some real mental health issues going on, and it's not you. You know, he needs help. He's trying to get help. He just has some really serious mental health issues going on, and it's not about you. You gotta understand. You need to be supportive for your dad and understand that, like, he's struggling.
Now, on the same note, right? Even if you take that approach, now when the parent comes back around, you know you have to do that again. When the parent comes back around, you know you have to do that again. You, as that parent that's understanding, that's making the child understand, and that's not painting the other parent as a villain, do you just keep allowing that to happen?
If it's the truth. Now, it might not be the truth.
No, but if it is the truth, the parent does have issues. The parent, so you just, every time you have to be there, and you're just gonna tell your kid the same thing. And so basically,
me personally, I would.
Ultimately, in this situation, you have to wait for your child to decide, I don't want this parent to come around anymore.
Like you say, like, for instance, I'm thinking, like, say, so somehow the mother of my children became a drug addict, and she's struggling, can't be there, always running around, you know, MIA. She comes back, she's drugged out, like, she needs rehab. I wouldn't be like, yo, you can't see your mom no more, she's a drug addict. I would explain to them what's going on and help them understand, like, nah, this is the harsh reality of, like, some people's lives, of the world. And even though it hurts, it's not about you. You need to be there for your mother. It's because this isn't about you. Even
how do you ask that of a 9-year-old, though?
Bro, you gotta. And I'm saying, as a child, like, certain things I've seen, like, you really have to, in a sense, I don't know if it's maybe a bad word to use, but grow up. You gotta understand, like, as a child, you this world's not, everything's not about you. So you have to learn that and like, hey,
Yeah.
it's not about you. You're better off. Don't take this personal. That's just something a lot of kids do, and we as children do. I actually wrote something about it. It's like we take the blame for things we shouldn't have to take the blame for. Like, has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
So it's better explain to them, hey, this has nothing to do with you. It's more so that this person has real issues and problems in their life, and what you really need to do if you really want to be of help is support them. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a better option.
I definitely agree with you, but I disagree in the sense of I wouldn't allow the parent to continue to do that. I'm going to give the parent, I'm not going to tell the parent they can't see the child, but I'm 100% going to give the parent an ultimatum, and I might give them 1 or 2 more chances. But you are not going to consistently come into my child's life. And from what I'm seeing, like, obviously you need both parents, but if I'm consistently in the child's life and I'm providing what the child needs physically, emotionally, you feel me? I'm there. And now you just get to walk in. You get to be the superhero when you come back. And then now when you leave, she's destroyed all over again. This might create things that she now has to deal with in her adulthood, with abandonment issues. It opens up a world for a lot of other things. You feel me? So me as a parent, I'm not going to allow that to continue because I know how it's affecting my child.
Yeah.
And then the child, as a child, even if you tell them to where they understand, like, your parent has this,
yeah,
it creates a false sense of, you know, just every single time, like, you hear stories about a kid thinking, like, oh, my dad said he was going to come pick me up, and he didn't come, and every time they're waiting at the window for their parent.
You remember Squid Games?
Yeah.
So remember Squid Games, the dynamic that he had with his daughter, where the guy clearly had issues in life, you know, lost his family and everything. So if you were the mother, would you say, yo, you can't come see your daughter anymore?
No, because the dad was inconsistent in his parenthood, but he wasn't.
It's like financially.
He wasn't in and out of her life, I would say. He was consistently there, but he was just consistently there and wasn't able to provide, or he was consistently there and he might have kept her past something that she would need to do, whatever the case may be. So he was technically like a bad father, but he was consistently a bad father. At least, you feel me? Yeah. So I would just say, like, the act of popping in and out of somebody's life, that can be so, like, that can create so much more issues for the child, man. And it's like, yeah, in a perfect world, like, I would love for, you know, my child to have both parents. But if it comes to us, now going back to your example, if the mom is coming back and she's drugged out, and I'm explaining to the child, I'm saying you have to be there for your mom, but now when the mom is coming back, she might have people looking for her, or she stole something from somebody, or she's taking things out of the house.
I wanted to exclude it. I guess that was an extreme.
That's not an extreme though, because those things are very common with the act of being addicted to drugs. You feel me? So that's the extreme would be like the mob or somebody like fucking Jason Bourne's looking for somebody, but like those things are common things that they don't want that in the household. Like, I've heard plenty of stories of people who had family members that their family members started doing drugs. Things go missing from the house. They start acting unusual when they're not on the drugs, and they get more what's the word I'm looking for?
Aggressive?
Yeah, like aggressive, and like they have a very short fuse and anxious and stuff like that. So now that's creating an environment around my child that's not safe for their well-being. So you as a parent now, your child is over everything. You can't tell your child in that sense, oh, well, you have to understand that your mom's stealing things because of this. And it's like, no, like, you have to understand that your mom is a drug addict. She's not a bad person. She's dealing with some bad things, and she's involved with some bad people. And right now, mommy can't be around you because it's not safe for you. So when mommy gets help, mommy can come and be mommy. But right now, she's not mommy. You feel me?
But I feel like even that isn't taking the parent out the child's life.
Yeah.
To me, that's understanding.
Yeah.
Like, you're not saying you can't see mommy no more, because you know that's like that time.
Yeah, that's like salty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that, like, oh, you can't see mommy no more. Oh, you can't see daddy no more. That's it, because I said so. Like, I don't.
Mommy down the street sucking dick for crack. She's crazy. All right.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell your kid that, but you can say, "Mommy, wow." Like, mommy is not.
What about to say,
right now.
I believe it just depends on like the situation. Like some situations, I feel like the mother does need to be taken away. But Man, it all depends. Or not let's say the mother, but like a parent as a whole. Like it really just I don't know, cuz I have family members that have been in situations that have gotten like their parents or one parent taken away, and it's been for like the better. And I feel like if it wasn't for that, they could have been in a really bad situation. But the way it is handled, it's like poorly handled. Like the kid was taken away, and now the father like brings another woman. Excuse me. The father brings another woman around and tells the child to call her mother, like, or her mommy. Like, you know, there's just like some things I don't feel like should be done, but it's kind of hard. Like the situations, like it's hard also, like for like the parent to like tell the kid not to call the woman mommy when she's acting in as a mother as well. Although I don't agree with it at all. Like I think
it depends
that's
on the age.
Yeah, that like super fucked up. But
I think it depends on the age, because I know people who like maybe someone's been raising them since they were
like really
2.
young. Yeah.
That's that's your dad. That's your mom. You know.
If you came when I was like 13, 14, your name's Daryl.
But even if like say like that person doesn't have a dad at all, and it's like you came in at 14-year-old and was the dad, I would dad, mom. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Respectfully, you know, I think that's just that certain. Like if you were the only man, father, dad in my life, you were.
It's different, and it's funny that I just use that name because subconsciously I know a situation like that, and it's someone who came into someone's life later in life, and their father wasn't necessarily there, but they, once they got the opportunity to be a father figure for that person, became everything they needed and more within a father figure. So now that person respected them as a father, and they addressed them as such. And to me, it's more about quality over quantity with most things. So you could have been raising somebody since they were 2 or 6 months old, but you never really see them as your child, so you never really treat them as such. And then you have people that you see like these Twitter videos or something that like the kids met you when they're like 15, 16, and like right before they're 18, they're asking you to adopt them because you've been such a, you feel me? And like those are always beautiful things, and I love seeing like.
I think I saw on Twitter the other day.
That.
They were actually like 25, and they were like, "Today's the day my stepdad that's been raising me my whole life gets to be my real father." He's gonna die.
Like that stuff is
so nice.
super dope, man. Because like I said, backtracking, you know, you gotta be mindful who you have kids with, and then when you do have kids, you have to put your kids in the best situation, even if it's a hard decision. You feel me? It's like you just can't allow, because God forbid you end up in a situation like a few years ago. I can't remember the child's name, but there was that boy. He was very young, but the father had like a feeling that the son might have been homosexual, so he was like mistreating the son and like not raising the kid and doing this whole bunch of stuff. And then they eventually found the son like dead in the house because the father like beat him and like just left him there and didn't even know he killed his own son. So it's like you have to look at how this is affecting my child and how it's affecting like their well-being. But other than that, you feel me, you can't really gauge how much a person's gonna, you know, do certain things like that. So I think it's important to look at person's actions and patterns. So like with that one situation, seeing the pattern as like, oh, it's every couple of years, and then he's here for this amount of time and he leaves, and then you just can't keep allowing certain things around your children, and you definitely can't have children with certain people. So
True.
Be mindful where you sticking it. Wrap it up. Ladies, keep yourself safe. All that good stuff.
Absolutely, fuck these niggas.
But yeah, outside of that, pretty much ready to wrap up. Young Thug's album was amazing.
Oh my word.
Definitely want to touch on that before we get out of here.
Scoliosis.
He released the album Punk. It is.
I heard you when it got the bands that you stupid.
It's a compilation album. I feel like it's like some of it is very guitar, you know, acapella type things, and he's singing, he's more harmonizing stuff like that. Then he has his, you know, more rap records. Seems to be more of a common theme now when you see with rap albums. A lot of people are trying to show their talent, trying to show
They could do more than
the versatility, and I definitely respect it.
artists.
To me, it just shows the artistry and it shows the body of work. So I like when people take steps to try to do things outside of what you're already used to. Like Young Thug, he's harmonized on tracks and stuff, but he's like really like just him and the guitar. Like a record like that, like it's really dope. Because he shows spurts of that, like on the Run and like Beautiful Thugger Girls,
Climax.
like so it's like those types of records he's had a few songs on there. So seeing like a half a project with stuff like that, I thought it was pretty dope. And obviously he's taking a different approach. He's calling it punk.
And I love he spoke a lot about this album, just like his work ethic, like how hard he really works, and like what like he was even just talking about what if you want to be successful, certain things you got to do. And I was like, wow, like I love, and I said him meeting J. Cole, I think was one of the best things that ever happened to him in his career, because he said like J. Cole is like someone who told him like, yo, you got to stop playing around, because he was like, J. Cole knew that he could take it there if he wanted to, but he's like, yo, like stop getting on songs and playing around all the time, like treat it, like get serious. And then he dropped So Much Fun, which they said was the best album of the year, and now he drops this. It's like ever since that conversation and being on tour with J. Cole, he's released 2 projects that people are like, yo, this is amazing.
That boy can rap.
Yeah,
and it's
I
funny.
know, he's really tough.
Cause he was him, Uzi. Like there's a few people that I'm like when they come in the game, like people are appalled. Like what is this nonsense and this and that, and they all end up being generational talents. Like Uzi, he's of those new mumble rappers and the Playboy Cardi's and stuff. He's freaking transcended from that, and he's rapping now.
I think, and I don't
Thug
know,
makes
and the
music
mumble
like that now.
Mumble rap I got a problem with mumble rap, because I think mumble rap is a way the old heads use to discredit the young rappers, because they'll say Future, Young Thug, Lil Uzi, the Migos are mumble rappers.
But think about it,
and it's like, no, let me finish. I'm like, yo, they're not mumble rappers, bro. Like those people I just named, even just because you have a hard time understanding their maybe thick accent and how fast they speak, they're saying real things. Like, but there's people like Famous Dex, and I'm like, okay, that's a mumble rapper. He ain't saying nothing. Or Lil Pump, like the guys, they're not saying anything. They're just getting on tracks and having a good cadence. But yo, these other guys, don't put them in the same category, because like you can't tell me you listen to Future and like the guy will make you cry. Same thing with like these people have great music where it's like they're telling you their life stories, what they've been through, and they're putting their heart and soul into it. And I think just to call some of them are, but to call some of them mumble rappers is to discredit their art. You know what I'm saying? It's like saying if you told someone who painted abstract art, man, they just be throwing things it's like that's disrespectful.
That's the comparison I was gonna make. So I have two comparisons. One would be art. So when you had people like Basquiat and Keith Haring, like he's painting a camel, people are like, that's not art. There's no way but they're doing it's a new concept, and it's changing the genre. So now these people are highly revered within that space, and it's really important, the work that they did. And when you look at basketball, you have Allen Iverson and Rafer Alston and all these people, and they're like, oh, that's street ball. That's not classic basketball. But all these moves, the in and out, the crossover, these things are implemented now in the NBA, and it changed the landscape of that space. So now when people are saying mumble rappers, because rap songs are broken down and there's the sheets for writing music and all these things, we all know this is bars, stanzas, and all this stuff. When they're rapping, there's technically no way to gauge when they're done rapping. So to them, it's just a run-on sentence. So it's like, oh, like, how do we know what's a bar? There's no hook. He just said the hook one time at the beginning of the song. It's different. It's not what we're used to. We can't gauge how this is in the grand scheme of how music was always made. So I think, like what you said, that was them looking at it as like, this is different and I don't understand it. So they're classifying it as somebody. But those artists, when they first came into the game, their rapping capability, they were good at making music, but they might have not necessarily been the best rappers. But when you look at an Offset now, when you look at a 21 Savage now, when you look at a Future, you can't tell me that they can't rap, because they have songs where they just bars. Like, if you want to listen to a song where like you may think that Future is about to just say some swag shit, like listen to Run Up, and every time that shit goes, he's literally
News or something, like,
bro. But News or Something is like a slower song, like a pop song where it sounds like they about to just be on some, bro. He's really rapping on that shit. Like 21, he's that the song he got with G Herbo, freaking, he's really rapping on that shit. He's
Lil Uzi on commercial.
really rapping on a lot of songs.
He was going crazy on commercial. Oh
exactly. So it's like,
and if anyone ever disrespect, I didn't even say Lil Baby. If any of you guys ever disrespect Lil Baby's rapping capability, I'm gonna say you don't like music and you don't know hip hop.
But yeah, that is just a classification of discrediting the younger crowd that's changing the overall scape of whatever that space is, and that's just a way of older people doing that. It's happening multiple
It'd be the same people in New York City still wearing Timbs and baggy jeans and New York fitteds in the summertime, talking about some future trash, man. Thinking
even fashion.
Listen,
that's streetwear. They love to call it streetwear. That's not fashion. That's street. How could that be a designer? Now you have Eric Emanuel's and Warren Lotus's and all these people that they're designer brands, but they make everyday pieces, because fashion before was all about concept pieces. That's why every time you saw these Paris shows and you saw Fashion Week and all this other stuff, they're always in things that couldn't be worn in everyday life. It's like, there's no way someone's wearing a freaking 3XL bubble jacket and their arms aren't even out the sleeves. But it's a runway look. It's a dramatic look. Even now with the makeup, before it was like, oh, you only seen lashes and all that stuff, like when people were like burlesque and doing it. But now that's on a part of everyday life. Like, a girl leaves the house wearing those lashes. She leaves the house with dramatic makeup. So it's like, things change for a reason, and you have to realize when something is an attack on what you know and when something's just evolutionizing. So that's basically what we doing for podcasting. You feel me? We out here. We ain't no regular podcast, man. This ain't no regular degular. You feel me? We changing it. Anyway, y'all ready to rap?
Yeah, I think
this has been another episode of Demigod Chronicles, brought to you by Master Studios. You feel me? We appreciate you for listening, whether you stop listening after 15 seconds, whether you made it to this point. We appreciate you for even giving us a chance. Follow everyone on their respective social medias at cv.lopez, at Alasia Ashley when she's available, because she's exclusive like a sneaker drop, and she is
available. She's
available right now. Follow Jay behind the scenes at Jay Squay. Follow the page at
and if you need help with your podcast, you could DM us and maybe he'll come help you guys out for a fee, obviously.
Maybe, you feel me? Tell him in Spanish, you feel me? Maybe we come help.
Posible, yo no sé, verdad, pero posible.
But yeah, follow the page at the Demigod Chronicles _ on Instagram, at Master Studios on YouTube, and on Twitter at the DGC _. Follow myself at _ Demigod _ for my personal account, and for the business page, MSTRD Master Studios spelled with a V, with an underscore in the middle. Yeah, once again, we appreciate you guys. You know, you guys had a lot of engagement with the last episode. We are going to be coming with some different ways of getting you content. You know, you might not get an episode every week, but you definitely going to see us every single week. We're going to start doing some more creative things.
Freestyle Friday.
Maybe.
Cooking.
Maybe, actually.
If we finally do it, can it be presented by Lo?
Yes, you could do whatever you want, bro. You could do whatever you want. I am tuned in. But yeah, see, maybe you get a freestyle Friday one week. Maybe one week you get laid, you feel me, doing something with our friends. Maybe one week you get me doing something with my friends. Who knows? But you're gonna have to tune in to see. But yeah, so we're gonna have the podcast. We have more content coming in different forms on off weeks. So yeah, like I said, keep tuning in, keep checking with us. We got more content coming to the page, YouTube, all that good stuff. We got some stuff going out this week. We got spotlights. We got a whole bunch of stuff. So definitely tune in for that. Like I said, as always, we appreciate the support, and yeah, keep helping us grow, and we gonna keep doing what it do. Chris, hit the people some Spanish.
Gracias por tu tiempo, te aprecio muchísimo, y gracias por escuchando, y nos vemos mañana, ¿sí?
You feel me? And we in there, and we out here. Bow.
First of all, girl, I'm trying to hit that. You say you love it when a nigga is honest. So fall in love, can you make me a promise? Been there, done that, seen it all. involved.